You are listening to the Wandering Chronicles podcast. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Finally ate for the first time in like a full day.
Yeah, you didn't sleep last night. You took a coma.
I took a coma, yeah. I had a long week and a long weekend the weekend before, and I have not recovered from any of it, so I slept for 13 hours.
Good.
I needed it. I also didn't eat dinner last night, and I wasn't hungry when I woke up, so that was fun. So I just ate.
If you're not hungry, there's nothing wrong with it then.
No, but I did end up eating a thing of potatoes, because I love potatoes.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm okay. I went to the grocery store, like, in person.
Look at you.
I went shopping in person, yeah.
Wow.
And I went to Aldi, which is a very anxiety-inducing store for me.
Yeah. I don't go to Aldi very often because it, like, kind of induces stress for me.
Yeah, the cart situation makes me very anxious. I always feel like they're pissed at me if I don't get a cart, but I don't need a cart ever, and if I get one, I always spend more money than I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like I'm disappointing people every time I go there.
It's a trap. It's basically a trap.
Yeah. I won't get a cart. I don't care how much it inconveniences them. I'm not going to get a cart, but I don't love the way that they look at me when I don't get a cart.
Here's the fun part. I never get a cart when I grocery shop. If I can't fit it in a basket, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
But
they don't have baskets there.
Yeah. I walk home with all my groceries. I don't drive, so if I can't carry it in the store, I'm not carrying it home.
Well, even if I do drive, I still don't get a cart.
Smart.
I live alone. I have no business buying that much at a grocery store in one trip. There's no need for it.
No.
The exception being cat stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not something I need to get every time I go, so...
No, I mean, I stock up on cat litter anytime I have to rent a car. I, like, buy 4 or 5 bins of cat litter just to, like, make sure I don't have to lug it around.
Yeah, that's smart. That's the way to do it, man. Yeah, I didn't really need a lot of stuff, and it was nice out, and I live within walking distance of an Aldi, which is why I went to Aldi, because I'm like, why am I going to drive my car when I can just walk there? It's literally 3 buildings down for me.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, except for it's Aldi.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't an Aldi near me, like, not within a reasonable walking distance until last year when they opened one. And I do like Aldi, like, they've got some good stuff there, but I always forget it's on that corner because I don't really walk that route home. So I end up walking over to Target every day after work because, well, not every day anymore because I don't have time for that, but, you know, usually on a day where I walk home, I'll stop at Target or I'll stop at Jewel because they're literally on my way home.
Yeah.
They're not out of my way.
I am experimenting with not having to drive my car places, and the only option for me is Aldi, if that's what I'm doing. So
plus, it gives you a good opportunity to go outside and walk, which I love. I love walking. I'm a lover of being a pedestrian.
I don't have a problem with that. It's the Aldi of it all that's the problem.
I'm sorry, Izzy's yelling.
She yelled over the last episode.
Yeah. She's just gonna go. So I'm sorry, listeners. You're gonna hear my cat scream throughout probably this episode and any episode, because...
Yeah, they're used to it by now.
She has a lot to say. She's been going through a lot, and she needs to be heard. I'm just hoping that she doesn't have... So, cats with hyperthyroids apparently experience, like, heightened anxiety at random.
The yelling would not be the response to anxiety.
No, but this is her normal meow. This is not her anxiety meow. Her anxiety meow sounds like...
She has an anxiety meow?
Yeah, she does. She has an anxiety meow.
Because my cats, when they're anxious, don't meow.
Well, Izzy's always been a chatty cat, and she's not a hider, so it manifests in yowling. So, like, you know that noise they make when they're crying? Like that yowl, like, that breaks your heart to hear it because it's simultaneously so sad and so terrible. Izzy's a yowler. She may yowl. If you hear the difference, you'll be like, okay, that's different. But that's
see,
her normal meow.
My cats do that, but that's when they're playing.
Oh, see, my cats don't do that when they're playing. They're silent when they play. But Izzy's been doing this thing where she'll just randomly walk around and then she'll just yowl at something imperceptible. And I looked it up, and apparently that imperceptible thing that she's yowling at is her anxiety over, like, overstimulation from the thyroid. It's weird.
Well, she might get used to that then. I mean, if that's what it is, the more she's on it, the more she might adjust to it. It's just like when we take new psych meds.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, but she may do that during the episode, and I want to apologize in advance.
I think we've all heard all of our cats at one point or another in these episodes. We're on episode 12 now.
Yeah.
That's like 12 hours of cat noises almost. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, so we are in Raleigh today, this week. How'd you get here?
That's a good question. I rode a horse.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. Not very creative, but I rode a horse.
I think so. We haven't said that yet.
True. I'm gonna eventually run out of ways to... Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are discussing what?
Culture. Arts and culture.
Ooh.
So, in keeping with the topic, I danced here.
I
shagged all the way to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay. Well, I will wait for you while you dance, because I'll probably beat you there with my horse.
You are underestimating my dancing abilities. No, you're not.
I don't know how to respond to that.
So, I was doing a little bit of research on, like, what kind of arts and culture things we can talk about from Raleigh.
Okay.
And I was a little bit stumped. My first instinct is to look at the list of people, like notable people that are from that area, just to narrow it down. And there are people from Raleigh that are famous artists, but I wasn't really interested in any of them.
Yeah, I did the same thing for Dubuque. I just looked at the list of people and I was like, oh, okay, well...
Yeah.
It leads us
Petey
to the right
Pablo is from Raleigh.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if we wanted to do an episode about Freak-a-Leak...
Maybe next time.
I don't.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time we visit, we'll be more interested in that. But that didn't really capture my imagination very much. But another thing I did just looking for ideas was check out the local museums just to see if they had any exhibits that were about anything that would fit the bill. And I found something there at the North Carolina Museum of History. Mm-hmm. They had a temporary exhibit called Beach Music.
Huh.
Making Waves in the Carolinas. And I was intrigued. Music is kind of my thing. And when I think of the words beach music, I think of songs like Smooth by Santana and Rob Thomas. Mm-hmm. Or Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think of when you think of beach music?
Beach Boys.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been to oldies, so why not?
Yeah. I also kind of thought of yacht rock.
Oh, God.
So,
seems like an oxymoron, but okay.
Have you never heard of yacht rock?
I have, and every time somebody brings it up, I'm like, it still seems like an oxymoron. It just doesn't seem like it should work, but it's a thing. I get it. Like, it's a thing. It just seems weird. Like, I don't think of yachts when I think of rock.
Well, it's a specific kind of rock, and that's the thing.
Exactly.
You know.
But, like...
The thing about rock is there are kinds of rock for just about any scenario you can think of. Mm-hmm. Really.
But, yeah, yacht rock is one of those things I'm like, okay. All right.
I don't mind it. I mean, it's decent. Most of the time when yacht rock is playing, I know the songs, so at least it's decent background music. I don't care for it, but I don't hate it.
Maybe you liked it better if you were on a yacht.
No, I get seasick. Okay,
I'm a
land lover.
You're a land lover?
I'm a land lover. But I have to say, I do think Jimmy Buffett is probably considered yacht rock, and Jimmy Buffett can fuck himself right out of the stratosphere, as far as I'm concerned.
Fair. I don't have
not a fan.
I have no strong feelings for or against Jimmy Buffett. I just know his music is kind of lame.
I have incredibly strong feelings against. But we know this. I think I told you about the time that I went grocery shopping and I had a cart. We were just talking about how we don't take carts. But this one, I was having like a get-together. So I had a cart and a lot of stuff in the cart. And I was in line waiting to cash out, and Margaritaville came on, and I left the cart and just went out to my car and drove away.
No, you'd never told me that story, but that is hilarious.
Yeah, this was when I was in college, and I was having people over at the end of the semester, or my school had trimesters, but whatever. We were having like a little get-together after school was over, and I was buying all the stuff to make, I think it was like a taco-centric situation, and I hate Jimmy Buffett, but I hate Margaritaville in particular. I can't.
It's a terrible song.
And so it's so bad, and I was like, I don't think I can stand here long enough to get through this line and cash out while this song is playing. So I just went somewhere else and did my shopping.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
It's so stupid. I could kind of, if it's on, I will bitch the entire time it's on, but I won't leave now.
Oh, so you've made progress?
So I consider that some kind of growth.
It is growth. I would count it as growth.
Yeah, but not my thing. To each their own.
Well,
but gratefully, that does not count as Carolina Beach music, so we don't have to listen to it. For that, I am grateful.
When I was in college, I every time I went to Myers or Kroger to go grocery shopping, the first song that would play when I'd walk in was "Welcome to the Jungle," and I was convinced there was some sort of like weird thing going on where everywhere I went inside like a grocery store type store, they would play Axl Rose music, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to Guns N' Roses. Like, please stop this. That's so funny. And so for like 2 years, I thought I was being stalked by the music of Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
Welcome to the jungle. We got pies and cakes.
Okay, if they changed it to fit what they had in store, I would maybe have a little more respect for them. Just because that's hilarious.
Have you ever seen that meme?
No.
So, it's mean. It is a mean meme. Axl Rose has gained some weight over the years. Yes, I've seen him.
He's a bloated man baby.
I'm not gonna say that because there's no way he weighs more than me. So I feel like I can't make that kind of comment. But when they came back out on their tour a couple years ago, I guess it was probably 4 or 5 years ago now at this point, that was a meme that was going around.
Oh.
And it's so mean, but it's also very funny.
I mean, sometimes the mean ones are just too funny to ignore. But they are mean. But
it is mean. I mean, I would never say that to someone's face. And I don't feel that way.
No.
Like I said, I probably weigh more than Axl Rose. I feel pretty confident saying so. Depending on how tall he is. You know?
Yeah.
I don't have anything against rotund people because I happen to be in that club.
No, I don't either.
I had a crush on him, like, pretty bad when I was a child. I was a child, and I just really liked the music, and my parents listened to that hair metal kind of music, so I have a very weird, specific memory of Welcome to the Jungle. It was the first song I ever saw somebody strip to at a strip club.
Oh. That would be kind of traumatizing.
Why?
I don't know. There's something weird about Welcome to the Jungle while somebody's taking off their clothes.
I didn't look at it that way. I was not affected, and I like that song, so maybe that's the difference.
I don't hate the song by any means. I just got sick of hearing it in the grocery store.
Fair, just like Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Well, none of that is Carolina Beach rock.
Okay.
Or Carolina Beach music, excuse me. Carolina Beach music is a genre all its own.
So, my thought when you said Carolina Beach music, it makes me think of those, like, 1960s beach movies where everyone's, like, dancing and singing on the beach.
There's a vein of that, but no.
Okay.
I mean, yes and no. I would say yes and no.
Okay.
So I do want to preface that the exhibit that I was talking about that kind of led to me researching this is no longer in the museum. It actually closed January 2nd. It was a temporary exhibit. So unfortunately, you can't go out and just see this exhibit. But I did have a lot of fun learning about it, and it was still online as far as, like, they wrote an article about it and described what they saw, so you can still go out and see that, and it will be linked in the show notes.
Cool.
So, Carolina beach music is a regional genre of music predominantly from North and South Carolina, which stems from a combination of rock, R&B, and pop music.
Oh, okay.
I think he has an itchy butt. I think that's what's causing all of this.
The running
because then he's... I think he's trying to run away from the itch in his butt.
Gordy, you can't run away from your problems.
I don't hold that same opinion as Ashley does. So
itchy buttholes will follow you until you address the issue.
I've raised you differently is all I'm saying.
I don't think you can. Especially an itchy butthole. That's like an internal problem. That's sticking with you. Until you address the issue. It just depends on
how fast you run.
Do you think you can friction the itchy butthole away?
Why not?
I don't even know how to respond to that.
That means I win.
No! I do not concede on this issue.
Well, if you don't, then you should say something.
An itchy butthole will return if you keep running. You can itch it by running, but it's not gone. It'll come back.
I disagree.
You gotta put ointment on that motherfucker.
So, have you ever put ointment on your butthole?
Yes.
Because it was itchy?
No.
I haven't.
No,
I certainly have not.
Yes, but we also have fingers to scratch the butthole. Cats do not have fingers. They just use their tongue, which is gross.
Gordy doesn't, because he can't reach it. Which is why I always have to wipe his butt.
Oh, Gordy. Gordy is hilarious.
Popularity is focused in an area known as the Grand Strand, which consists of an arc of beachland on the Atlantic Ocean and includes the communities of Myrtle Beach, Ocean Isle Beach, and Carolina Beach. Carolina beach music is closely associated with the style of swing dance known as Carolina Shag, or the Shag, amongst shaggers and locals alike.
Ooh.
Some accounts on the exact location of the origin of beach music vary, but many historians agree that the music began to popularize around the end of World War II, when many white youths didn't have access to the music that black recording artists were creating due to segregation. At this time, many of the clubs and pavilions on Carolina beaches were hosting what many of the white community called race music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
AKA
lovely.
Music performed by black musicians, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Popularity of beach music began to spread beyond racial lines in the late 1940s when several radio stations around the Southeast began playing beach music staples like Earl Bostick, The Drifters, and Chairman of the Board.
Oh, these are names.
Yeah, those are musician/band names.
Yeah, I've heard of at least two of them.
Mm-hmm. I've only heard of two before this.
Yeah. I've heard of Earl Bostick and Chairman of the Board. Those are the two that I knew of.
The Drifters is probably the most famous of the three.
Huh.
Nowadays, we call the type of music that was common in these areas before the introduction of Carolina beach music R&B or jazz, and beach music is also considered a stop along the way to the creation of both rock music and soul as well.
Okay.
These locations were often frequented by young people who wanted to let loose and dance the shag with their friends. The Carolina Shag is similar to swing dancing, but a lot more laid back and loose.
Okay.
It's a couple's slotted dance, meaning the dancers move in a straight line while keeping footwork close to the ground and upper body movements to a minimum.
Okay, so stiff upper body, small movements on the bottom, close to the ground. Like no kicking, nothing like that.
It is unlike Irish dance.
Okay, so no
no high kicks.
No river dancing in this one.
Do you remember that meme years ago? It was the lady in green spandex. You can watch my body rolls. You can watch my body rolls. High kicks. This is how we do it.
I don't remember that.
Oh my god. You, me, tonight we're watching it together.
Okay. I'm in.
One person instrumental in the spread of beach music was named Johnny Caps, who hosted a radio program called My Best to You, a nighttime request show for couples on the radio station WPTF, a radio station out of Raleigh. There were also many nightclubs that were local and bars that predominantly played some of the popular recording artists, and they were frequented by local resort employees, travelers, lifeguards, and local musicians and dancers as well.
Okay.
However, this area, which included a lot of musical growth and appreciation of the fun, light beach music, came to an end in October of 1954 when the Carolina coast region was hit by a hurricane named Hurricane Hazel, a Category 4 hurricane which claimed the lives of 95 people in the U.S., as well as 469 people in Haiti and 81 people in Canada due to inland flooding, mostly in Toronto.
I'm looking at the storm track in this photo you have, and holy crap, that went high.
It did, yeah.
That's a long storm.
The storm was so strong and so deadly that the World Meteorological Organization actually retired the use of the name Hazel in naming storms from that time forward, which I didn't know was a thing.
I did know that they sometimes will retire storms if a storm is particularly deadly. Yeah, I don't know, did they ever retire Hurricane Andrew? Because I remember that one was a huge one, too.
I have no idea. I didn't know this was a thing at all, so I didn't know that they've done it before.
I'd heard that. I like the name Hazel, so it's kind of sucks that that it's retired. It's a cute name.
When the hurricane hit the coast, it damaged so much property that many of the venues that hosted beach music in that area and shag dancing were destroyed, and tourists that largely financially drove the entertainment industry in the area did not come in nearly the numbers as they had before for several years following the natural disaster. So, of course, that's going to have a huge impact on the growth of the musical genre.
Okay. I can tell you now that Andrew and Bob are both names that are tired also from being hurricane names. Yeah, wow, I didn't know there's a lot of hurricane names that have been retired.
Yeah, I had no idea.
The first ones on the list, though, were from 1954, so Hazel and Carol
must
have been
I think that was the first year.
Sorry, I just wanted to look up and see if that other...
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I said that's okay.
I know.
Beach music and the Carolina Shag have both experienced several resurgences over the years. Popularity swelled following the release of the movie Shag in 1989, which starred Bridget Fonda and Phoebe Cates as part of a group of 4 high school friends on their last road trip together before graduation. The movie was filmed on location in Myrtle Beach and features both beach music and Carolina Shag dancing.
It's a really funny movie poster.
Yeah, it looked like Clerks to me, like it was ripping. But it was before Clerks, so maybe Clerks was ripping it off.
I think so. I mean, there's a whole thing about looking at movie posters and how they, like, rip each other off throughout the years. So, like, there's 4 main styles and they just deviate from there. It's kind of funny.
There's only so much you can do with a movie poster, to be fair.
Exactly. So, this looks like a fun movie, though.
It does. It reminds me of Hairspray. And actually, Hairspray's story reminds me a little bit of this story too, where it's a bunch of white kids wanting to experience the better music the BIPOC community has to offer.
Hairspray was one of my favorite movies growing up. I loved that movie.
It's a big one for me too. I love that movie as well.
Yeah.
Musicals in general, I'm such a nerd for.
I'm not a huge musical fan, but that's one that I'm like, I love that movie. I'll watch it over and over again.
I have been into musicals since marching band because we, I think in 7th grade, played Phantom of the Opera, the entire symphony, and I just started listening to musicals after that because I liked that so much that I was interested in hearing what else there was to offer.
That's cool.
So, yeah. First chair French horn, what?
I was in the orchestra. I wasn't in the band. I got kicked out of orchestra.
What's the difference?
I played the cello.
We didn't have strings, but our band did orchestra and marching band because it was a small school, so we did both.
Yeah, we definitely had enough people to do one or the other, and I was a tiny person who chose to play a big instrument. That thing was like the same size as me. So
I played the French horn. They're pretty damn big, too.
Yeah, those are huge, too. But I eventually got kicked out of orchestra, which is what I wanted.
Why? What'd you do?
I wasn't allowed to quit it, but I didn't want to be part of it, so I just stopped practicing. And so during, like, concerts and stuff, I would just play Mary Had a Little Lamb while they were playing, like, Beethoven. And
I would have hated you.
Yeah, eventually, the conductor realized what I was doing and just told me to leave, which was what I wanted. That it took too long for him to realize what was going on. I wanted that the entire time. I hated orchestra.
Why were you in it?
Because in school we had to join one or the other.
For your school's requirements,
yes.
Not your family's requirements.
Yes.
Okay.
And then after a while, my family was like, well, you've been doing it, don't quit. I wasn't really allowed to quit it, so I eventually just forced their hand. I did that a lot with things that my family or like my school forced me to do. I was just like, I'm going to force your hand and make you kick me out so I don't have to do this. I did it a lot. There's a lot of things I've been kicked out of.
I loved band. Also, in 2018, Sirius XM radio replaced a radio channel that had been dedicated to the Beach Boys with a channel that played exclusively Carolina beach music, saying that it was, quote, dedicated to the vintage R&B sounds that have meant summer in the Carolinas for decades, unquote.
Huh, okay.
The accompanying dance, the Carolina Shag, is now also a commonly recognized dance in many international and national dance competitions.
Ooh, it's made a big
So now that we know some things about Carolina beach music and some Carolina Shag, shall we listen to both or watch?
Sure.
We can't play them in the recording. I wasn't able to find any royalty-free beach music. It's just not been long enough yet for anything to be royalty-free. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to play it for each other, and then we're going to describe what we hear.
Okay.
So the first song that I'm going to play for you is by Earl Bostick, and it's called Moonglow.
Okay.
So what are your first impressions?
Reminds me of the music they play at the dance in Back to the Future.
I've never seen that movie.
Ah, it's one of my favorites! I love that movie.
That would make sense, though, because isn't that section set back in the 50s, if I remember correctly?
1954, I think.
Yeah, so that would make sense, because this was around the same time.
It's very similar to the music they play before Marty McFly gets on stage and plays Johnny B. Good.
Okay.
I liked it. It's got, very chill, but also, like, I could see how you can dance to it. A lot of horns. Good melody.
The next song that I'm going to play for you is by the Drifters.
Okay.
And the song is called Come On Over to My Place. So I think that's a lot more similar to like mainstream music that I've heard.
Yeah, you can hear it kind of edging into Motown sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think of that song?
I like it. I liked it a lot. It's kind of got a nice beat to it. Kind of catchy.
Yeah. It's more similar to what I pictured from that time era, music-wise, than the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The third one is by O.C. Smith, and the song is called Brenda.
Always after a lady.
So that's more from one of the resurgencies later on.
Yeah.
I think you can tell it's got a very 80s.
Definitely
vibe,
more of a modern vibe than ones from the 1950s.
Yeah. You can kind of see how the music, even though it's still connected, you can hear the connection between the songs in like the beats.
Yeah.
It is different. It's definitely got different instrumentation.
It's definitely the most different from the other two. Like the other two, I can see how they're connected to each other.
Yeah.
There's definitely, other than the fact that the first song you played had no lyrics, the second one did, their tones and melodies almost sound like they are really close cousins to each other.
Yeah,
versus
for sure.
this, who is like third cousin twice removed.
Yeah, I could totally see that. So for the dance samples, I kind of want us to watch the whole video, if that's okay.
Okay.
Both of them are about like 4 minutes long, so it's not crazy.
Okay. Oh, his foot is off the ground for too long.
This isn't basketball.
How is she supporting him? That looked awkward. Their footwork is like hypnotizing. It is really fun to watch. And like their upper body barely moves. Other than their arms, like, touching each other and stuff, their upper bodies barely move. It's so interesting, but kind of like two different people are doing things, like two different bodies. Like, her upper body is, like, completely different from her bottom. Like, I don't get it. It's so cool, though. They're very, very good.
So that was the Carolina Classic Grand Nationals in 2017. Okay. They were the first place winners. It was Sam West and Autumn Jones, and they were dancing to Jerry Lee Lewis's Pink Cadillac.
Music worked really well with the dancing. It's just really interesting how, like, their upper bodies, like, you were right, like, their upper bodies are very stiff, other than their arms, like, moving to hold on to each other or to do, like, random arm movements. Their shoulders and their torsos barely move. Their upper legs, their hips, they don't really do too much. Like, the hips obviously have to move. But their feet and, like, ankles and, like, calves do all of the work. It's crazy.
It's like swing dancing without the swing.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah, I think so too. That was Sam West. He has been swing dancing, both the more traditional version of swing dancing as well as the Carolina Shag, which is a version of swing dancing, since he was 9 years old.
Wow, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, and
he looks so comfortable with it too. Like,
oh, you can tell he's danced since he was a child.
Yeah, like, it's more of a second nature to him than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was funny. He's competed in countless dance competitions. He also swing danced with his wife in a commercial for the travel booking website Kayak in 2013.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And his dance partner in that particular competition was Autumn Jones. Clearly there's an age discrepancy there, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it's not just couples. Yeah. She has actually been dancing since 1992 when she was 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's so young.
I know.
Little baby.
I'm putting my note, cries an old lady.
I mean, I was in grade school by the time she started dancing.
I was 11.
I think I was, like, in 3rd or 4th grade, depending.
Yeah, she's a baby.
Yeah.
But she was actually trained by the couple that we're going to listen to or going to watch dance in the next video, which I think is very cool. And she has won 3 pro titles, all with different pro partners.
Wow. So she is
I think that's very
good.
Cool.
Yeah, she was very good.
All right, you can click the next one.
Yay. So far, my observation is that his movements are far more subdued than the other guys. She seems to be doing a lot of the work.
I think it's clear that they've been dancing together with each other.
Yeah.
For a lot longer because they are doing more intercouple work.
Yeah, they're really comfortable with each other. And they look fantastic dancing together. Oh, they're so cute. I mean, his footwork is really good. So is hers. Whoa, that slide movement was pretty freaking cool. Him sliding back over to her was really cool. I'm getting a little Fred Astaire vibes from him. His footwork and the way he dances.
I can see that.
Yeah. They are phenomenal. Wow. That was so cool.
Yeah. So that was Jackie McGee and Charlie Womble.
Okay.
And they were dancing at the Carolina Shag Dance Exposition in Hilton Head in January of this year.
Oh, wow.
2022.
Wow, that was recent.
Yeah, it really was. The song that they're dancing to there is called You Can't Strike Gold in a Silver Mine by Johnny Taylor.
It's true. You can't.
Yeah, it's factually accurate.
It is. That song is dead on.
So, in researching for this episode, these two's names came up constantly. And it makes sense when you realize that they've been dancing together since 1981.
Wow.
Which, if you're bad at math, is 40 years now.
That's longer than I've been alive.
Fuck you.
Fuck you! I don't know why that was my response to you.
It's a fair response. Fuck me, fuck you, fuck you, fuck me!
No, fuck me, fuck you!
They've competed in more than 300 dance competitions, even going undefeated for more than a dozen years in one stretch.
Wow.
They won the National Shag Dance overall competition 9 out of its first 10 years.
Damn, everybody else must have hated them.
Yeah. And they were the only couple who won the title for 7 consecutive years.
Wow.
In addition to competing, the couple teaches Carolina Shag dancing workshops out of their studio in Myrtle Beach, which is how Autumn Jones came to know them, and she was actually trained by them.
So they're a married couple?
It didn't specify whether or not they were married. I do think they are a...
actual couple?
Yes, a romantically linked couple, but I don't know if they're actually married or not.
Okay.
I tried to find specification on that, and I couldn't, so they might just be common law married at this point.
They fucking rocked it. I mean...
They were on Good Morning America. I found clips of them dancing on Ellen, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Harvey's talk show back when he had them dancing, too.
Wow.
Far as Carolina Shag goes...
They've made the
I would say that... Yeah, I would say that they're probably the most well-known couple that dances the shag.
Wow. They are phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a backstory about Carolina beach music.
I love it. That was fascinating.
Yeah, a little bit different episode, but I love music, and I was excited to learn about a different type of music, and I love America's history surrounding music, because I think we have a very melting pot type country where people are bringing influences from a lot of different places where they're from, but even though that's the case, there's still a lot of music that originated right here in this country.
Absolutely.
And that can't be said for a lot of other things in the United States.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool.
Music is really interesting because it really does pull influences from all over the place, and it doesn't judge the influences. It just kind of melds together.
Yeah. There's no reason not to. I mean, if we learned anything from the 90s and Limp Bizkit, there's no reason not to yell over rap music and wear a hat backwards.
Why not?
If that's what you want to do.
If that's what you feel in your heart, go for it.
I went through a period of time in my life where every single guy that flirted with me looked like Fred Durst.
Oh, gross.
And I have trauma surrounding that experience.
I have trauma just hearing about that experience.
There was a period of time where I couldn't go into a gas station without some dude that looked like Fred Durst hitting on me.
You poor woman. You've been through so
much. I don't get it. I don't get it. I was never interested back.
Oh, God.
And it hasn't happened in a while. I would say the last time it happened was like 2016, maybe.
Well, let's keep that streak going.
Rolling.
Roll. I gotta admit, I'm loving these, like, culture stories that we get. I think the culture ones are starting to become my favorites just because they're so different and you learn something new every time.
Yeah, I never would have thought that there was... I didn't even know, I mean, beyond... There is regional music in that, obviously, when you think of grunge, you think of Seattle.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where it started. But then it was everywhere after that. And I know that some of that is true for Carolina beach music. Mm-hmm. But I never really considered that there was probably music that didn't make it nationally.
Yeah.
That is just regional, that you probably haven't heard of unless you were in that area. And I never thought about that until I was researching for this episode, which makes me even more excited about where we might end up going and what kind of music we might learn about, because I'm a music nerd, and the more music I can collect, the happier I am.
Yeah. Well,
so
you can put this one into your collection now.
Oh yeah, I already added that Johnny Taylor song to my playlist.
It's awesome.
So, yeah. Really like that one. That was my favorite one that I discovered.
Yeah, that's really cool. Definitely,
so do you want to see where we're going to go next week?
Yeah, let's spin the wheel.
All right.
I've got the face cup.
Face cup! You should post a photo of the face cup on our Instagram sometime.
I will. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just because I think that might be kind of fun. He's so cute.
got them at a thrift shop or a secondhand shop.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did you paint his eye, or was it already like that?
This came like this. It's
very cool.
It's a Bailey's cup. It's got Bailey's on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a
Never would have guessed that.
Yeah, Bailey's face teacup.
I have a Drambuie glass that I have carried around with me for decades.
Yeah.
That I got in a Drambuie Christmas gift package.
It's so funny. It's funny the things that we keep with us.
I literally use it to rinse my paintbrushes off. And now that's what it's
a paint cup.
Purpose is. Yeah. Speaking of paintbrushes, because I've been doing that paint by number, that fancy paint by number, I bought a new one for when I finish this one. Because I'm enjoying it so much, I'm like, I'm doing another one.
I mean, painting is so fun and, like, therapeutic when you're just doing it for yourself. And if you're not doing it for other people, it feels different.
Yeah, I enjoy painting, but I've had such bad creative block now for 2 years that I'm not having to come up with an idea.
Yeah.
I can still do the painting fun part that I enjoy without having to come up with an idea, which is the part that's hard for me right now.
Exactly. And so that's a lovely part about paint by numbers. Like, I'm an artist, and I don't shit on paint by numbers because it definitely has a purpose for it. It's something that people who want a creative outlet but don't have necessarily the ability to translate that creative thought process onto a canvas can still get that creative output, I guess.
Yeah, it's good practice, too. I mean, honestly, because I haven't painted in a long time, there was an element of having to relearn brushwork and stuff, and there's no risk, really.
Yeah.
This is, like, very clearly telling you how to do it, so you're not going into it afraid, and just learning how to work the paintbrush correctly, and that's been helpful. I don't know if I'll start painting my own stuff again anytime soon, but if I wanted to, this would help it.
And honestly, I'm glad you're painting. Even in any capacity, I'm glad you're painting. It's a good creative outlet.
I just wanted to try it. And I, honestly, the first one that I'm doing, it's not done yet, but it's a Mona Lisa.
Ooh.
And I just really wanted a Mona Lisa print, so I thought this is kind of two birds with one stone.
I can
have a Mona Lisa print, but I painted it.
Yeah. It's much easier than when I painted the girl with the pearl earring.
You did that from scratch.
I did, and it was hard.
It looks like we are going to Lockport, Illinois. We're back to your stomping ground.
Back to my neck of the woods. That is, that's in a neighboring county. That's in Will County.
Yeah, that's not too far.
I wonder what we'll be talking about. Okay. So, we have ourselves... We have a tragedy on our hands here. It's a true crime, overcoming, survival. I am going to look forward to finding out something tragic about Lockport.
I don't remember that place.
It's near Joliet, that's what I know.
Oh, okay.
Not
I remember
Joliet.
Joliet. Happy wandering!
You too. Bye!
Bye! Thank you for listening to the Wandering Chronicles podcast with your hosts, Ashley and Jamie. You can follow us on social media at Wandering Chronicles Pod on TikTok, Wandering Chronicles Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and WND Chronicle Pod on Twitter. Or you can email us at wanderingchroniclespodcast@gmail.com. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. But only if you're enjoying what you're listening to. We're very, very sensitive. New episodes drop every Thursday. Please tell everyone you know about this podcast. Your mechanic, that strange girl from high school who randomly messages you on Facebook to try to sell you whatever MLM product that she's currently hawking, the cashier at your local grocery store, your boss, your lawn guy. I bet he listens to podcasts. Okay, thanks. Bye! I'm fast as fuck, boy!
I'm fast as fuck, boy!
I'm fast as fuck, boy!